Ask anyone how much Spanish you need before moving to Mexico City, and you get two completely different answers. Half the internet tells you to memorize textbook grammar for a year before you pack your bags. The other half insists you can show up with zero vocabulary and let total immersion do the work for you. The necessary Spanish level fluctuates based on the specific lifestyle and neighborhood you choose once you land. By mapping the specific neighborhoods and daily routines of Mexico City to the actual effort required to navigate them, we can calculate exactly how much language investment you need to make before your flight. Every foreigner touching down at Benito Juárez International Airport falls into one of three distinct categories. This decision tree shows where your language strategy begins. First, the 2-week tourist, short on time, prioritizing sightseeing. Second, the expat-level resident, remote workers paying a premium for convenience. Finally, the long-term local, seeking true community connections off the tourist grid. Identifying which of these three paths you are on dictates your entire language learning strategy before you ever book a flight. The entry point for living in the city is the survival tier, hitting an A1 or A2 language level. You know a handful of greetings, you use numbers, and you rely heavily on translation apps. You can absolutely survive on this in heavily gentrified neighborhoods like Roma Norte, Condesa, or Polanco. The infrastructure here is built to accommodate English speakers. This comparison matrix highlights what works at a basic level. Restaurants have English menus, and you can buy groceries without speaking. But when life goes off script, the A1 level collapses. Describing medical symptoms, negotiating a broken boiler, or handling immigration leaves you entirely stuck. This creates the expat neighborhood trap. Locals in Roma or Condesa are incredibly patient. The moment they hear you struggle, they will politely switch to English. That accommodation robs you of daily friction required to actually improve your Spanish. Choosing this path means capping cultural integration and accepting a permanent financial premium for the convenience of an English-speaking bubble. Navigating daily life outside the tourist bubble requires reaching the functional tier, roughly a B1 to B2 level. This level allows movement into outer, less gentrified neighborhoods like Narvarte, Doctores, or Portales. Here, businesses do not expect foreigners, and the Spanish moves at its natural pace. Functional Spanish brings real autonomy. You can negotiate rent to secure market rates, navigate the metro confidently, and build relationships with your neighbors. You will still face friction. Group conversations heavy in local slang will leave you lost, and phone calls without any visual body language to rely on remain incredibly difficult. Hitting this functional stage usually requires 6 to 12 months of daily, structured study, combined with the real-world trial and error of stepping outside your comfort zone. Reaching functional Spanish isn't just an academic achievement. It is a financial strategy to eliminate the gringo tax and secure total daily autonomy. Many people put in those 6 months of study, pass their grammar tests on generic language apps, and then freeze the moment they try to order a taco. This happens because of a massive gap between the standardized curriculum taught in classrooms and the actual vocabulary spoken on the streets of Mexico City. This split screen shows the difference. You memorize the word tomate for tomato, but at a CDMX market, they use the word jitomate. You learn the word pesos, but the vendor asks you for varos. At a local fonda, there is no menu. The ordering happens fast and in shorthand. Standard language courses skip these constructions entirely, leaving you confused in the environments you studied to access. Then there is pronunciation. If your accent immediately signals that you are a learner, locals will seamlessly switch to English to save time. Apps rarely provide the targeted feedback required to fix those specific sounds. Having perfect B2 grammar is effectively useless if missing local vocabulary and proper accent prevent you from maintaining immersion on the street. This quadrant chart maps the final trade-off. In the bottom left, we have the bubble nomad, low effort, low connection. They survive perfectly fine in Condesa, but pay the highest prices and remain isolated. In the middle is the frustrated app learner. They spend high effort on generic apps, but achieve only medium connection. In the top right is the integrated resident, achieving deep cultural ties by focusing specifically on the local dialect. If you want to reach that top right quadrant, you need a tool built specifically for the streets of Mexico City. That is exactly what the Street Tongue app was designed to do. Instead of teaching you phrases you will never use, Street Tongue focuses on the 300 most useful everyday scenarios in CDMX. It teaches you actual slang and provides immediate, accurate feedback on your pronunciation. Most new arrivals rely on general-purpose apps and passive exposure, which often leads to the plateau we discussed. By focusing on 30 minutes of dialect-specific practice before arriving, you bypass the standard learning curve that stalls most newcomers. Achieving true integration in Mexico City requires investing not just in learning Spanish, but in learning Mexican Spanish. Have you ever frozen up and failed to remember a basic phrase while traveling? Drop your most embarrassing language mistake in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.